Hi and welcome back to ABG Investor Day. My name is Rebecca Gärderup and I am an analyst here at ABG covering the IT and tech sector. Today we're gonna have Careium here presenting with the CEO Carl-Johan Zetterberg-Baudry. And he will give us an update and a brief about Careium. Carl-Johan, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. As Rebecca said, my name is Carl-Johan Zetterberg-Baudry and I'm the President and CEO of Careium, where Careium will actually have its first day of trading on Friday, December 10th, when we will be listed on First North, because Careium is a separate listing from Doro and the former business area Doro Care within Doro. We can take next slide, Rebecca. So Careium and the focus on Careium is we want to transform senior care to ensure that we help individuals to live independently with increased stability of life and also ensure resource efficiency. Because we are confident that the growing elderly population is one of society's largest challenges today, where technology-enabled care is one of the key solutions to this equation. Where we in Careium, through our integrated technology solution, the strong service delivery organization we have, and experience in transforming senior care, and especially going from analog to digital, we want to be a key force in solving this equation and ensuring independence and resource efficiency. Next slide, Rebecca. Maybe to give you a better example of what we do at Careium and a little bit of the solutions that we deliver on a daily basis, then I would like to introduce you to two of our end users, being Arthur and June, where June suffers from dementia and also with a clear risk of falling, she's taken care of by her husband Arthur, who's also old and suffers from typical sort of conditions when you get older. But thanks to our products and services, being care phones, fall detectors, movement sensors, both Arthur and June can continue to live at home with the safety and independence that they want and that they deserve, where Arthur can feel sort of reassured that June is taken care of even when Arthur is not have the opportunity to support June. And they are of course connected to our contact center, where as if something happens, they always have us as a backup service 24/7, both from a contact center perspective and responder service perspective. So this is a clear example of two of our end users and how our services and products support the independence and well-being of seniors. Next slide, Rebecca. So I will give you a short introduction about Careium, talk to you a little bit about the market that we serve, and then again, some more focus on how we want to transform senior care. Next slide. So Careium today, Careium is a market leader in Northern Europe in technology-enabled care, where we serve roughly 400,000 end users on a daily basis through our 1,000 employees, where we handle around 25,000 incoming alarms to our 6 alarm receiving centers that we have in Sweden, Norway, and the UK. From a revenue perspective, Careium is approximately 0.6 billion Swedish kronor in revenue, of which 80% is revenue from the services we deliver and recurring revenue based on the service delivery contracts that we have. And Careium has grown since, you could say, the start in Doro, when Doro acquired CareTech back in late 2014, with in average 21% per year. Next slide, Rebecca. So our vision at Careium and what we are dedicated to on a daily basis is we want to make sure that all users live a richer life, feel confident, secured, and cared for. We'll take next slide, Rebecca. So our business is technology-enabled care services that we deliver and are used both by the end user senior itself, by relatives and caregivers. And it consists of both software, hardware, and services. Where hardware, the main hardware pieces are the care phone or the home hub and different sensors such as smoke alarms, bed sensors, motion detectors, and other sensors. And then software solutions, both in terms of our own alarm receiving platform, but also a platform for device management, data management, and user management, where we cater both to individual living, people living at home on their own still, and assisted living sheltered schemes, so care homes. We are the market leader in Northern Europe, where we have a market share in Sweden and Norway of roughly 40% in number of connections in the market that we handle. UK and the Netherlands, we are a little bit above 10% in two markets that are more fragmented than the markets in the Nordics, where our market share in the UK and in the Netherlands also gives us a market leading position in these two markets. Next slide, Rebecca. So Careium have grown with roughly 21% per year for the last 6 years, where we are now close to 600 million Swedish kronor in revenue, of which 80% of the revenue comes from services. Because most of our business is driven through public procurement, where municipalities, local authorities are our main customers. Where we to these customers deliver sort of three different distinct business models or offerings. One is the managed service offering, where we deliver the service piece, the software piece, and hardware as a fully managed service to our customers. The second element is software as a service, where we deliver our software platform as a service. And the third element is hardware or product sales that account for 20% of total revenues. And products can be a part of the sales to a customer. So a customer could, for example, be a customer of fully managed services to us, and in addition, we also do some hardware sales to the same customer. The main sales that we see in products are to the markets outside of our home market, Sweden, Norway, UK, and the Netherlands, where we also sell our products to similar companies as Careium in countries such as France and Germany. And as our business is predominantly public procurement business to local authorities, the average contract length with our customers and local authorities are 4 to 5 years. So typically a contract would have an initial contract length of maybe 3 years with an extension opportunity of 1 + 1 year, giving us an average of 4 to 5 years in contract length with our customers. We can take 2 slides ahead. Oh, sorry, no, 1 slide ahead. 1 slide left. Because I think this is an important element of what we do at Careium as well. Because both to us and to our customers and to our end users, sustainability is a very important factor. And we contribute to a more sustainable society in what we do on an everyday basis. And especially we see that the work we do at Careium contributes to a more sustainable society through efficient use of resources, a greater inclusion in society, and more independent life. And also that a lot of the products and services that we deliver and that we develop, they have a long lifetime and as low as possible sort of life cycle effects on the environment. Now we can move 2 slides ahead, Rebecca. So let me give you a short sort of insight to our market. Senior care and society are facing a number of challenges as a result of the growing elderly population, both in relative terms and in absolute terms. The number of seniors or people above 65 years of age will grow significantly in Europe in the coming 30 years. And in addition, we also see that, and to a large extent as a result of the growing elderly population, there is a clear funding gap in care costs that is also set to increase quite dramatically in the coming years. And in addition to sort of a funding gap from a financial perspective, there is a funding gap, you can call it, from a resource perspective, where there are not already today, and that challenge is just set to increase in the future, where there's a lack of sufficient resources in healthcare professionals. But from a positive sort of perspective, you could say that being able to treat people or for people to live independently at home is a clear opportunity, because residential care is around 4 times more expensive than home care, and hospital care is then twice as expensive as residential care, which means 8 times as expensive as home care. That's why we at Careium, we are confident that technology is part of the solution, because that will enable seniors to care at home and reduce costs for society. And as a positive effect as well, both for the individual itself, but also for society and for relatives. And we at Careium, together with Doro, we have initiated a commission of loneliness that we are very involved in. And in sort of one of the studies we've done, we've seen as well that people living independently at home, they typically are mentally feeling better than people living in residential and hospital care as well, even though individuals in residential and hospital care have maybe more individuals or other people surrounding them on a daily basis. But from a mental wellness perspective, people living individually at home are feeling better. So that's a positive effect as well, not only as we see from a cost and an independence perspective, but also from a mental well-being perspective. You can take next slide, Rebecca. So maybe to show a little bit more concrete why technology-enabled care will increase quality of life for seniors and reduce cost for society. Because with technology-enabled care, we see that we can delay institutional care. People can stay longer in their own homes or in residential care. We can reduce hospital admissions. We can enable seniors to live independently in their own home. But we can also enable friends and family to stay informed and to stay involved. And most importantly, we can help the individual, so the end user, the senior, to live with increased independency, safety, and quality of life in their own home. Next slide, Rebecca. So based on sort of some of the challenges we see that society are facing, there are a number of growth drivers impacting our market. The addressable market grows as the number of seniors is increasing and is set to increase in the coming years. But also we see that the penetration of technology-enabled care services is increasing. And also the scope of services that's delivered, because technology will enable and are enabling new type of services. So the scope of services are increasing, and as a result, the average revenue per user is set to increase. And finally, which you could say is more of a transformation that needs to happen in the market that will drive growth in the market, is an analog to digital shift, because in many markets, technology-enabled care are still based on analog solutions, meaning that the connectivity is typically through the old PSTN copper-based communication lines. The Nordics are digitalized, but a large part of the rest of Europe, they're not. And this is a transformation that needs to happen, because in many countries, the analog networks are going to be shut down in the next few years. Why sort of a transformation, a digital shift, and what we believe sort of more mature market will be a result of that shift. And all these factors in combination, but also sort of each and every one of them working sort of in their own right, will drive a strong growth in our market in the coming years. Next slide, Rebecca. So, how do we at Careium want to be sort of a key force in transforming senior care? So we can take next slide, Rebecca. One of the key elements that we see is important, and that technology will enable us to do, is to move from a current market in technology-enabled care that is based more on analog connectivity, more standalone systems, and more reactive type of solutions. By that, I mean typically an event has happened and you trigger an alarm based on something that's already happened and you need assistance. What we want to move to, and that we're focusing on and building sort of our new type of services towards, is a digital future where there's sort of digital integration, where there is integrated hardware and software and services solutions instead of standalone systems, where we are looking at actively, you can call it monitoring, or actively viewing daily activities of life in order to move to a future market that is more predictive, proactive, and preventive. And just sort of to say a very simple example of the predictive, proactive, and preventive future, in the first instance, it's not more difficult than to be able to maybe analyze how has call patterns evolved during the last 2 months. Or we have medicine dispensers, for example, and bed sensors, where we can actively see if a new medication is given, maybe the sleeping pattern changes, and we can see that an end user are awake very much at night. They need to go up, maybe go to the toilet, maybe to take a glass of water, whatever it might be, because we see that maybe the medication or the dose of medication that they have received have impacted other elements. And then we can more proactively see, okay, we need to change the medication, or feedback to the doctors that they need to review on how they can change the medication. In a more long-term sort of future, utilizing sensor information, we could, for example, start to detect, is there early signs of dementia, and then start to put in proactive activities in order to, in best case, sort of hinder dementia from occurring, but probably most likely, which will be an extreme sort of importance to the end user, to relatives, and to society, if we can postpone dementia and sort of limit the symptoms from it. So by that, that's what we mean, going from a current market being analog, standalone, and reactive to a digitalized, connected market that's predictive, proactive, and preventive. Next slide, Rebecca. What's important for us from Careium's perspective, in order to deliver on tomorrow's solutions and more proactive, preventive, and predictive solutions, is our integrated technology and service delivery platform. That's based on, you could say, the software platform that's almost a base that both caters to alarm handling and notification handling in contact centers, but also, as I said, device management, user management, data management, in order to be able to do the analytics that we described in tomorrow's solutions, which we are using in our service delivery, but that also can be sold as a service to other service delivery companies in other markets. Then you could say the first pillar on the software foundation, that's devices and sensors, where we are focusing on developing sort of selected few products that we see are core in the solutions that we deliver, being predominantly the care phone or the home hub. Other products, such as smoke detectors, motion sensors, watches, we will use best-of-breed third-party products for the solutions that we want to deliver and integrate them into our ecosystem. And this is to the second pillar, being the service delivery, where our contact centers that we today have in Sweden, Norway, and the UK, handling around 25,000 incoming calls every day, in combination with responder services and field engineers, all these three elements combined is our integrated technology and service delivery platform, where we differentiate to a large part of our competitors, having all three elements in the solution, all three pillars in our offering. Next slide, Rebecca. So what we want to achieve going forward with our integrated technology platform is to continue to drive growth. As said, we've grown in the last 6 years with an average of 21% per year, and we want to continue to drive both organic growth that we want to drive through increased market share in individual living, further expanding our market position, our offering into assisted living market, delivering new type of services and tomorrow type of services to expand average revenue per user, and also to focus on the digital shift to happen. Where I said, Sweden and Norway are digitalized. Looking at our largest home market today, the UK, that's to 95% still analog, where we want to be one of the companies who will drive the digital transformation in the UK and to ensure sort of a more mature UK market. Next slide, Rebecca. And in combination with driving our organic growth, we will continue to have an active acquisition agenda. In the last 6 years, you could say, since the first acquisition of CareTech back in 2014, we have continued to acquire a number of companies, both to give us a platform in new countries, such as the first acquisition in Norway, the first acquisition in the UK, and the first acquisition in the Netherlands. And then we have continued, especially in the UK, that's a fragmented market, continue to strengthen our position in the UK to have a strong base to leverage the digital shift to happen in the UK and our experience in that digital shift. So acquisitions will continue to be both in new markets to get a platform to build from in a new geographical market, but also to strengthen our position in some of our existing home markets. So that will continue to be a focus for us going forward. Next slide, Rebecca. So finally, in summary, I would say Careium, and we are sort of a stock-listed company from Friday. We will focus on transforming senior care because technology will be one of the key elements in solving many of the challenges that we see in society with an increasing elderly population. And I am very confident and sort of very excited to start the journey of Careium when we are stock listed on Friday as a separate company and continue to build a strong technology-enabled care company to support end users, society, and relatives and transform senior care. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Carl-Johan. Just one question. You mentioned that on Friday is the first day then when Careium can be traded. What do you see as the greatest advantage when no longer being a part of Doro?
The key element for us sort of separating Doro and Careium is to ensure the right focus for both businesses, because our customers, our business model, and our offering differ between the two companies. And being separately listed will give us a greater opportunity to give each business and each sort of customer and offering the right focus to ensure that both companies are as successful as they can be.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you again for the presentation. I think our time is up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carl-Johan.